Doesn't have to be yours, but, you know, it would probably be a good idea if it was your call sign and your name. And we have what's the next line? QTH. Well, for QTH, what shall we use this year? How about the state, province, or country where you were born? Not where you live now, and not Ohio. I mean, we're all in Ohio, I get that. But we want to have a little variety here and a few multipliers. So the state, province, or country where you were born. If it was Ohio, first of all, condolences, and second of all, it's okay, you can use that. Okay. How many of you have operated the sprint contest? All right, means there's a whole lot of you that have not. Okay. So let's talk about how sprint contests work. Most contests, you get on a frequency, you call CQ, people call you, and a lot of them call you, and you just keep calling CQ, and you work one after another on the same frequency. The sprint's a little different. In the sprint, you can call CQ, and if someone answers you, you exchange your information, and then you need to go somewhere else. And he gets to take over that frequency. That's the way it works. He gets to call CQ, work one station, then he's got to move. Now, in the sprint on the air, moving means turning the dial on the radio and moving a few kilohertz before you start another contact. We're going to do a sprint live here, an eyeball sprint, an eyeball QSO sprint. So we don't have any VFO dials to turn, but you can take a few steps. So you can stand here and you can, let's see, I need someone to demonstrate. How about you, sir? So here's kind of how it works. I will start as a CQing station. CQ Sprint, K1 Delta Golf.
W5WZ.
W5WZ from K1DG. My name is QSO number 1. My name is Doug, and I was born in Massachusetts.
Number 1, Scott, Louisiana. CQ Sprint.
And now I've got to move, and I've got to look around for someone else to work who's calling CQ. So you get the picture? You stand someplace, call CQ. Someone will call you. You need to give both call signs. He screwed up, by the way. He didn't give both call signs, so we're watching you. You need to hear both call signs, number of the QSO, name, and your QTH. Exchange that, and then if you called the guy, you get to call CQ there, and he's got to move. Push him away if you have to, just like a real contest. Okay, so any questions on how the rules work? Okay. You all need to stand up now and get up out of your chair, otherwise you're not going to be able to move very far or very fast.
Check the logs. I think they're rubber block is starting early.
So make sure you know your name. Make sure you know what state you're going to use. I can hear everyone tuning up. That's good. And the way it works is this contest, the real sprint, no. We haven't started yet, gentlemen. Back it off down there. No rubber clocking. So the on-the-air sprint is normally 4 hours long. The NCCC sprint is a half an hour. This one's even faster. This one's only 5 minutes, which starts right now.
My number 2 is his number, and it's his number 1. What you put down?
Write down number 1. Receive number. Whatever number he gives you.
Thank you.
Cheers, K5 Echo Radio.
Okay. K5ER. And what number am I?
Number 2, Mark, Louisiana.
Okay. Mark, Louisiana. Okay, I am K5, Peter. Oh, you would be number 3 for me.
Your state? CQ Sprint, K1 Denmark, Germany. We are now halfway through. Keep the rate up. One minute to go. 1 minute remaining. Keep the rate up. Thirty seconds. Fair warning. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop transmitting. Stop transmitting. Stop writing. The contest is over. All right. Okay, please pass in your log sheets. You can bring them here.
If you can read this, you're a better man than I.
Thank goodness for computers.
Yes.
I'm sending this.
Give him some logs,
I'm
too.
sending this in on a floppy disk. Here you go.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, sir.
I gotta change my name.
Right.
I saw a 14 though. You taught him too well.
I'm going to disappear and I'll be back later. Tell them that I'll be back late at the end of the day with the prizes for
Right.
the winners.
Thank you, K1DG, for another excellent contest. As far as I know, nobody got trampled, which has happened in the past. So a couple of housekeeping items. Jerry, K1 Sugar Oscar, is in the back with parking vouchers. If you're not staying at this hotel, you will need a parking voucher. Somebody lost a thumb drive. This is a SanDisk black thumb drive. Was found earlier this morning. If it's yours or somebody that you know, let me know and we'll get that to you. There is a book for sale outside at the end of the registration table that is published and written by November 2 Kilo Whiskey, and the book is Out of Focus, and it's sort of snippets of DXing and contesting in the world of N2KW. So you might want to check out the book. $5 from each book goes to WRTC 2014, so it's a good cause as well. Anybody that is here from outside of the United States, would you please stand up? So we have lots of countries represented here. We have Australia, we have Germany, we have Tango 6 Mike Oscar, just back from Afghanistan. Thank you for your service, Eric. Many Canadians. There are 5 guys from Alpha 7 here, from the United Arab Emirates, from Doha, which is incredible. And I think 6 from Kilo Papa 4, so thank you very much. We're very proud to have all the DX here today. 7 Queen, 7 Bravo Papa, thank you. Thank you for all those multipliers over the years. So, a couple of other things. The slides will be available on the web at the Contest University website so that you can get full color slides. Now, I want you to be able to have those full color slides for yourself, but I also want you to have those full color slides because I want you to go out and give these presentations to your clubs, your contest clubs, your general interest clubs, to any club that will listen to you talk about this great sport of amateur radio contesting. So I want you to take the material that you have here today and go out and share it with 20 or 30 people during the next year. Think about if 200 people, there's 225 of us, all share with another 25 or 30 people about Contest University, that's real power. That's real power. So I want to make sure that you know that this information is to be shared. So this is our 7th year in Dayton. We've also had 5 years of Contest University in Italy, and back in March when CTU Italy happened, there were 315 that attended there. So that continues to have just tremendous response. First time for CTU Australia this year. They had about 30 show up, so it's off to a little bit of a smaller start, but still Contest University in yet a new continent. So that's pretty incredible. And then another CTU Brazil. This was the second one that was just held a few weeks ago. So over 3,000 students have attended CTUs around the world. So it's a pretty staggering number when you come from the idea that was started really in a living room of one of the Yankee Clipper Contest Club members' homes. And they sat around and exchanged contest ideas. And then the Potomac Valley Radio Club took it a step further. And they had a whole day-long set of presentations that they gave. And then, you know, there were questions about, hey, wouldn't this be a great idea to have at Dayton? So there will be, next year, Contest University will be in Connecticut during the ARRL's 100th celebration. So we will have a special CTU next year. And so look for details on that. I think that venue is going to allow us to do some hands-on things and some things that we really can't do here. So look for that next year. What's that? Wave. Oh. Wave to the web. So here is CTU Italy. This is John W2 Golf Delta, who was one of the guest speakers there. And I think he's asking everybody in there to promise to work Papa 40 whiskey. He's got his hand up. But you can see it's a little different venue. It's a very nice auditorium that they have. And here are some of the other presentations that were going on. This is the Australia group, and they all posed for a nice picture. So I talk about this every year, but there's a lot of new faces here. You have to make sure that you ask questions, especially in these small group sessions that are coming up. Ask questions, and if you don't think of the questions during CTU, make sure that you find these guys, these professors or other students, in the suites here for the next 3 nights. Right around the corner, there's going to be, free pizza every night, so come down and continue to learn. One of the things that I've heard a couple of guys say, and I think this is a great idea, is that they met somebody new. Most of you guys will hang around with guys you know, but I challenge every one of you to go up to somebody you don't know and introduce yourself and ask them about their contesting. Ask them what they're doing with their station this summer. And enrich the friendships that you already have here with some new friendships today. It's all about making the pie bigger. I believe that there are no secrets. I believe everything that I know, I learned from somebody else. Many of the things that I know came from guys in this room. So almost everything I know, somebody else had to tell me. And that's what CTU is all about, is sharing and taking the veil off the word secret. And then many of you in here have already given talks or written articles over the past 12 months. Anybody that has a green badge, green is for good. And green means that you guys all gave presentations. How about all the green guys and green ladies? Please stand up. Very good. So we need more green next year. So I'm going to share a couple of things that I came across here in the last few months at K3 Lima Radio. How many in here use an external receiver preamp of some sort? Okay. And of those guys using preamps, are you doing any type of single op 2 radio or multi-single or trying to listen on 2 different bands? Okay. Receiver preamps that are sitting there on, even though they look harmless and you think they're just an extension of the receiver front end, they can cause big problems. They are amplifiers, and they're not only a one-way amplifier. They do things that are bad on the reverse side. So it is imperative that you think about, especially with antennas that are in close proximity, what happens when you have that amplifier running. We had, during the ARRL CW contest this year, we had some very nasty interference on 20 meters, and it was caused by a preamp that's on 160 meters on a receive antenna, and it was sitting there on, and it didn't have a bandpass filter in front of it. So there was a lot of rules broken there. But simply just making sure that that preamp isn't turned on when you're not using the 160 meter station makes the problem go away. And the KD9SV front end saver is a great idea as well, because that will take and isolate the receive antennas. And I was telling this story to Frank Donovan last night, and this was a very incredible thing that I sort of tripped upon, and then I found where somebody else had tripped upon the same thing. But trying to receive in the same band that you're transmitting in is very hard to do. How many people will try to do 20 phone and 20 CW on field day? Yeah. Or 40 phone and 40 CW on field day. And how many people have had to break up the fight that goes on because of the interference, right? Unless you've got a pair of K3s or a pair of 7800s or modded up 1000 MPs, you're going to have a fight on your hands because the radios can't handle the RF in the same band. But the proper placement of vertical and horizontal antennas can give you the winning edge, and you can use TS450s, which is a very common field day radio. The placement is not super critical, and I've learned that through some modeling work that I did with Greg, W8WWV. But the amount of isolation that you can get, and a lot of us through the years have said, well, vertical to horizontal polarization will get us about 20 dB. If you put that vertical in the right position of the horizontal antenna, it can be a whole lot more isolation. So I'm going to walk you through just a little bit of the math behind this. And to understand how this isolation works, 100 watts out of a TS450 or a K3 is plus 50 dBm. That's 50 dB above 1 milliwatt. In this particular test case, and not only did we do models, but I actually did some experiments in the field with the Edmond Amateur Radio Society a few weeks ago, and we actually set up a dipole and a vertical to test this. So there's one transmit antenna, one receive antenna, and in case number one, two dipoles are spread 300 feet apart. They're broadside to each other, which is the worst case, and the received signal strength from that 100-watt radio is plus 17 dBm. Now, understand that minus 73 is S9, minus 13 is 60 over 9. So that's a pretty hot level of RF. In fact, many front ends will blow up once you get above 0 dBm, even plus 5. So case number two are the same two dipoles, but they're side to side, so they're tip to tip. And notice significant reduction down to minus 10 dB. So that's about 60 over 9. So if you have K3s or one of the high-end Icom radios, actually you can live with that. If you take two 3-element Yagis and spread them 300 feet apart, so maximum side-to-side isolation, they're both pointed in the same direction so that it's tip to tip, it's minus 20 dB. If you take case number 4, a dipole and a quarter wave vertical, they're 75 feet apart, but that vertical is right dead center of the dipole, right broadside to it, right center. It's minus 160 dBm. Rob, what is that in terms of, I mean, it's well below S0. That's right. And I ran into this when I was testing some isolation on 80 meters, and I couldn't hear the generator because I had this exact configuration. And you think that something like this, where it's a broadside configuration with the vertical, it would be well over S9, and it's not. Case number 5 is the vertical and the dipole, 75 feet apart, but off the tip, where you would think that that dipole had a null, it's plus 13.5. So it's an incredible thing. Here, I'm going to put all the backup drawings to this up on the Contest University website so that you can see this and you can play with the EasyNet files. But if you put that vertical, which is where the 100 watts is, that's the transmitting antenna, and you put it so that it centers up with the dipole, plus or minus a few feet, that thing is down minus 160 on paper, and in the real world, where we've got feed lines to worry about and things like that, it's better than 100 dB down. Simple antennas done right. And 75 feet apart, the farther they are apart, the more the isolation is. So it's great. All right, back to the real world. It's 23:59 Zulu. The contest is going to start in 1 minute. And your PL259 connectors look like this. Man, what has happened here is, and there are a lot of stations that have this going on, where it was, let's just jam the shield in there and let's hope for a good connection. Well, you know what? I do a lot of things on hope, but connectors are not one of them. So here's a pre-made cable. This happens to be made by DX Engineering, which will be supplying cables to WRTC 2014 that are pre-made, and everything in here is soldered. And they're high-quality connectors. Those of you who heard Frank Donovan talk, he talked about the 83 1SP Amphenol connector. That is the only connector that you should use for soldering on the ends of your coax. Silver-plated body, it's a nickel on the, actually the threaded part is nickel. If that was silver-plated, it would be too soft. No, it's not silver solder. No, that's standard solder. It's done with a Weller gun. You can see the article. Bob, are you here? WC30, Bob wrote an article about the K3LR way of soldering, and you may have seen it in November QST. So go take a look at that. Bob went step by step, and you actually won the article of the month for that. So. So, yeah, that's a great way to, it's an inexpensive way to get more performance out of your station. So, it's good every year to plan an antenna project and go execute it. For the last 2 years, we've given a discount to those who would give a presentation or write an article. Next year, what I want to do to give a discount is I want you to go out and help somebody with an antenna. I don't care if you build a 2-meter ground plane or you put together a 220 antenna. It can be a small antenna project, but I want you to go out and help somebody else do something with an antenna. It could be even going over and inspecting for loose shields and putting the right coax connectors on. That's an antenna project. So I want you to go out and be an Elmer, have an open heart. Don't make fun of somebody who's done something wrong. Remember the things that we know how to do. Some of them we learned here at Contest University, some we learned from others. One of the issues today is that there aren't enough Elmers to go around. So go out and be an Elmer this year to somebody new and go out and help them with their antennas. Field day. Make sure that you're active in your local club. The local club is the heartbeat of radio in your area. So even if they're not contesters, even if they're not DXers, be a member and participate. So we're a little ahead of schedule, which is great. We do have the selections for the last, the 3 that will be repeated. These are the 3 classes that will be repeated. One is John K6 Mike will be giving his class again on post-contest analyzers. That is a very good presentation, and it was high on the votes for repeat. So if you want to try to squeeze all the juice out of figuring out what you did, when you did it, and how you did it, you want to go see John's presentation, and that will be over in Salon CD. So that's on your left-hand side. And I also need to make sure that I see JA1 Whiskey Sugar X-Ray and Olaf G0 CKV and Papa Yankee 1 November Bravo. After I'm done talking, I need to see all 3 of you guys for deliveries. Okay. W3LPL was high on the list, and so Frank will be talking again. This will be his first presentation, which was on the design, installation, and maintenance of antennas, towers, and rotors, and that will be in the Harding room. So that's down the hall and to the left will be Frank, and in Salon A. So we're going to split the room again. Salon A will be Randy Thompson, K5ZD. There were people climbing over themselves to get in to see Randy's the first time, so we'll have that. In Salon B here, we are very pleased to have Dick Yeager, K4IQJ, who flew in special to give an excellent presentation on receive antennas. So we have 4 good topics that'll start at 1:45, and then we go into our small group sessions. Remember that Rob Sherwood's radio performance update, which has a whole lot of new information in it this year, will be the final session. Then we'll have a little wrap-up at the end. So while we have just a minute, if there's a couple of questions, we can take just a few. If not, we can take a break, and 1:45 we'll get back at it. All right, looks like we're good to go.